Commander Zixthor had seen many things in his 40 cycles serving the Galactic Defense Academy, but nothing had prepared him for the sight before him. The massive Krell, a creature that had terrorized 3 star systems before its capture, lay curled at the feet of Cadet Martinez, snoring softly while drool pooled on the polished academy floor. The training exercise had seemed straightforward enough. The Academy's Xenopsychology department had acquired the Krell specifically for combat readiness drills. Standing nearly 3 meters tall with obsidian scales, 6 razor-clawed limbs, and a maw filled with crystalline teeth capable of crushing Duraplast, the beast was the perfect instrument to test cadet nerve. The plan was simple. Unleash it in a controlled environment, observe how cadets from various species handled extreme fear, then neutralize it with stun fields before anyone got hurt. It had worked perfectly for the first 2 groups. The Valorian cadets had demonstrated their species' characteristic flight response, activating their personal shields and retreating in organized formation. The Thundari had formed a defensive circle, their multiple eyes tracking every movement of the prowling beast. Even the usually unflappable crystalline had shown satisfactory stress markers when the Krell had roared, shaking the reinforced walls of the training chamber. Then came Group 7, which included Terra's first cadet to the Academy in 3 generations. Cadet Elena Martinez had arrived at the Academy 6 months prior, part of humanity's renewed effort to integrate into the galactic community after their self-imposed isolation following the partition wars. She was unremarkable by human standards. Average height, brown hair tied back in regulation style, no visible augmentations. Her test scores were good but not exceptional. Her instructors noted she was friendly, adaptable, and possessed what humans called a dry sense of humor that most species found confusing. When the Krell had been released into the chamber, the other cadets of Group 7 had reacted predictably. Cadet Thorm had readied his species' natural bioelectric defense. Cadet Wisp had begun phasing between dimensions. Cadet Yulin had deployed combat drones from her armor. Martinez had simply stood there, head tilted, watching the beast with curious eyes.
Cadet Martinez, activate defensive protocols.
Commander Zixthor had barked through the observation room's speaker system. She hadn't moved. The Krell, detecting the lack of fear pheromones, had stalked toward her, its 6 limbs carrying it in that distinctive predatory gait that had preceded countless deaths across the outer rim. Its triple-jawed mouth had opened, revealing those terrible teeth, and it had released a roar that registered at 140 decibels. Martinez had smiled. "Oh, you're just a big guy, aren't you?" she had said, her voice carrying clearly through the monitors. "Yes, you are. Look at you, all scary and magnificent." What happened next would be discussed in xenobiology departments for years to come. The Krell had stopped mid-roar, its head tilting in a manner that its handlers had never seen before. Martinez had extended her hand, not in a defensive gesture, but palm up, fingers relaxed. The beast had leaned forward, sniffing, its nostril slits flaring. Then it had made a sound no one in the observation room could identify, a sort of rumbling chirp. "Good boy," Martinez had said, and scratched under what could only be described as its chin. The Krell's rear limbs had begun to twitch. If Commander Zixthor hadn't known better, he would have sworn the apex predator was experiencing pleasure. "Terminate the exercise," he had ordered. But before the handlers could activate the stun fields, the Krell had done something even more unprecedented. It had flopped onto its side. All 3 meters and roughly 2 tons of scaled death machine had simply rolled over, exposing the lighter scales of its underbelly to a creature it could have devoured in 3 bites. Martinez had laughed, a clear, delighted sound, and knelt beside it, running her hands along its armored flanks. "Who's a good boy? Who's been terrorizing star systems because nobody gave them proper enrichment? You have, yes you have." The Krell had made that chirping sound again, a deep rumble mixing with it that the audio sensors identified as purring, actual purring, from a Krell. That had been 45 minutes ago. The exercise had long since been called off, but no one seemed to know what to do next. The other cadets of Group 7 stood against the far wall, watching in amazed silence. The handlers refused to enter the chamber. Commander Zixthor had contacted the Academy's head of xenobiology, who was currently reviewing footage with an expression of profound confusion on her crystalline features. And Martinez? She had simply sat down, crossed her legs, and pulled out her datapad to review notes for her next class on stellar cartography. The Krell had rested its massive head on her lap, closed all 6 of its eyes, and dozed off. Cadet Martinez, Commander Zixthor, spoke through the intercom, keeping his voice carefully neutral. "Can you explain what is happening?" She looked up at the observation window, squinting slightly against the lights. "Sir, I believe the Krell is napping. I can see that." "Cadet, I'm asking how you made an apex predator, a creature responsible for 847 documented deaths, into a, pet, sir?" Martinez offered helpfully. The Krell snorted in its sleep, and she absently stroked the ridge above its eyes. "I don't think it's a pet exactly. More like it was misunderstood." "Misunderstood?" The word came out as a hiss. Commander Zixthor's species didn't do incredulity well, but he was making a solid attempt. "Yes, sir. Looking at its behavior pattern, it seems like it was acting out because it was stressed. Probably scared, definitely not properly socialized. Classic signs of an intelligent creature in distress." She gestured at the sleeping beast. "Once I showed it I wasn't a threat, that I was friendly, it calmed right down. Humans have been doing this with dangerous animals for thousands of years. This is not a domestic animal, Cadet. This is a Krell. With respect, sir, almost nothing was a domestic animal until somebody decided to try befriending it." Martinez shrugged. "My grandmother had a dog descended from wolves. My uncle kept a corn snake. Humanity spent centuries turning everything from predatory cats to venomous spiders into companions. We're just good at seeing the potential for friendship in things that other species see as threats." From the corner of the observation room, Dr. Velana, the xenobiology head, spoke up. "Commander, she's actually correct. Human history is filled with examples of this behavior. They call it domestication, though this appears to be more immediate. Something about their neurochemistry allows them to form cross-species bonds with remarkable ease." "Are you telling me," Commander Zixthor said slowly, "that humans can simply befriend predators?" "Not all humans and not all predators," Martinez interjected. "But a lot of us, yeah. We're social creatures, sir. We look for connection. Sometimes we find it in unexpected places." The Krell shifted, making a contented sound, and she smiled down at it. "Besides, look at him. He's not so scary when he's getting the attention he needs." Commander Zixthor rubbed his temple ridges. "This was going to require so much paperwork. Cadet Martinez, when the Krell wakes up, do you believe you can guide it back to its containment unit?" "Probably, sir. Though I think he might benefit from regular socialization sessions. Maybe some training. Positive reinforcement goes a long way." "You want to train the Krell? I mean, if he's going to be here anyway for exercises, might as well make him comfortable, right? Happy animals are more predictable than stressed ones. It's just basic welfare." She paused. "Also, sir, I think he prefers Brutus." "You named it?" "He told me, sir. The Krell told you." "Well, not in words, obviously. But when I suggested it, his purr got louder. That's a yes in any language." In the observation room, several of the instructors were exchanging looks. Dr. Velana was taking copious notes. One of the Valorian combat instructors had begun laughing, a strange whistling sound that indicated genuine mirth. Commander Zixthor made a decision that he knew would haunt him. "Fine. Cadet Martinez, you are hereby assigned to Krell management until further notice. Consider it practical xenobiology credit." Martinez beamed. "Thank you, sir. You won't regret this." He already did. As the observation room emptied and Martinez continued her studies, the supposedly terrifying Krell snoring peacefully beside her, Commander Zixthor updated his report. "Human integration continues to provide unexpected challenges. Request updated protocols for humanity's apparent ability to befriend anything with a pulse, possibly anything without one as well. We'll investigate further." Below him, Cadet Martinez had put away her data pad and was now scratching behind the Krell's auditory ridges, humming a tune from old Earth. The beast's tail thumped against the floor in contentment. Humanity, it seemed, had brought more than just themselves to the stars. They had brought the unshakable belief that nothing, not distance, not difference, not even teeth designed for tearing, could prevent connection. The galaxy, Commander Zixthor reflected, was wholly unprepared for that.